Hey yo, welcome to another episode of Off the Beaten Path, your new favorite podcast. And today we have the FUs. How are you doing, man?
What's up? I'm doing great, and I am very thankful for you pronouncing it the right way the first time. so,
I like it, man. Where did the name come from?
so it came from my mom when I was in middle school. I used to be in a band with my brother, and then when I decided to do my own thing, that sounds pretty big, but I was in middle school, so it wasn't really a big deal. Um, I didn't want to just make it under my actual name, and so I was super into like heavy punk, Slipknot, and System of a Down. And my mom was like, "Oh, you should say it like the fuck yous," and I'm like, "No, like I'm in middle school, like it's kind of weird." And then she was like, "What about the FUs?" I'm like, "Okay, that's kind of dope." And then it just stuck. And I mean, I haven't come up with anything better, so here we are, the FUs.
No, that's super dope, especially because how you spell it. But
Yeah.
what how do people often fuck it up?
Everyone says the fuse,
Mm,
because I guess they can't see the literal dash that's there. So,
Mm,
a lot of people say the fuse, which
that's
is
awesome.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Very unfortunate.
yeah, I was
Uh,
gonna ask you though if it was like an entendre, because like your music's like, I guess if I was gonna use a metaphor, it's like a bomb going off with
Oh,
some of your high energy. So
yeah.
like, does that play into it all? Like, oh, it's also a fuse, or am I just reaching
Um,
for it?
I guess it can be that now. It was because back in the when I was first writing music, it was just like noise, so it was kind of just like kind of fuck you face kind of deal. Um, so it was just the kind of punk energy, and I'm glad that the vibes and the roots of punk are still being shown today.
Oh,
Hell
one
yeah.
hundred percent, yeah.
And so like I'll say this, Bobby and I came up with a band way back and it was called Too Extreme. But that's
Okay.
something that it happened and then it died very quickly and we moved on to other musical aspirations and shit.
Yeah.
But this is something that you've had since middle school.
Yeah.
So from the time it was born in your head until now, what were your what am I looking for? What was your vision then and what's your vision now compared to that
Um.
time?
So when I was first starting to write my own stuff, it was just kind of a free for all because I mainly played drums. And then I was like, okay, I can't really write music on drums. So I learned guitar and bass. And I was just kind of just putting everything out that came out of my brain. I didn't have any goal or anything. And then by my, I think, senior or junior year of high school, I had enough good songs that I went to the studio for the first time, did that. And when I heard it recorded the right way and mastered and produced the right way for the first time, I was like, okay, maybe I could do this like for a living, hopefully one day. So after I heard that, I was like, let's try and actually focus on making like, I really try my best to make a good mix of commercial songwriting mixed with kind of like bringing in some elements of the weird, you know? Um, because if I really want, I would love to do like Queens of the Stone Age kind of style music for
Mm-hmm.
my whole life. But that usually doesn't pay the bills, so I try and mix that kind of stuff in. Um, but my, I used to have a goal when I was in middle school. I was like, I'm gonna play for the Foo Fighters Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I'm gonna play for the White Stripes Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Obviously, Foo Fighters just got inducted this year, so that's not happening. But it's still, a fun little dream to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just trying to do the best I can every single time I write. Try and do better than before at this point.
And
Fuck
also, when
yeah.
I listen to it, I hear a blend of like you said, commercial and a little bit of the weird.
Hmm.
I also hear like some throwback to like nostalgic, like blues rock and like early classic rock,
Yeah,
mixed in with like modern, like post rock and like you said, punk.
yeah, yeah. My mom, she told me that she was listening to like Pearl Jam and Nirvana when I was in the womb, and she grew up on all that
Nice.
kind of stuff,
Nice.
like Todd Rundgren, um, what's it called, Peter Frampton, and then my brother was super into like Lead Belly and all the super super old blues stuff, and then punk. So it kind of just is all mixed together for me.
And if you've said it, I apologize. I missed it. But is it your older or younger brother?
It's my older brother. He's like a year
Okay.
and a half older. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and what like I'm sure y'all might have started together, but was it kind of a older brother? I'm looking up to him, and I want to do this as well, type of thing.
Yeah, I think he started playing bass first, I think. And he did like one of the School of Rock programs, and that got him into punk. And then he kind of went from his on his own from that. And then from him practicing at our house, I'm like, oh shit, this is dope.
Mm.
And so I practiced drums, and then his band needed a drummer, and I'm like, hey dude, what's up? I'm here. And so yeah, it's always been like I'm looking up and I'm trying to do better than you, but you're just way better sometimes. So
uh, and what made you want to start with drums?
so it's interesting. My mom, she had a divorce I don't know how much longer, but years before I was even a thought in the air. And after that divorce, she got a drum set to take her anger out on. And for some reason, she kept it. She like never touched it after she really got it. And one day I was like, let's try this out. And at that time, I was like super into video games. So I got addicted to Rock Band and like Beatles Rock Band. And then there was this mode where you didn't have to like complete the song for it to, go through. So I would go to the real drums and pretend that the real drums was Rock Band drums.
Mm.
And I learned like every Beatles song doing that. And
Wow.
then after that, I was like, I can just listen to a song and learn the drum pattern. So that's kind of how I got started.
Shout out to Rock Band. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Video games are great. I'm telling you.
Yeah, if you put the energy into the right place, and they are great,
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. And when did you gravitate towards other instruments, and why?
It was around. It was not really long after I started playing drums because kind of right after I joined my brother's band, and the guitarist was his best friend, and then we all became close, and I was kind of like always looking up to them, and I'm like, I want to do this to impress them. So I kind of learned it just to like be impressive, but it sounded like shit. So, um, but after I had like a dinky little 4 track, and I would record the drums while humming the melody, and then I'd go back and play the guitar, and then I go back play the bass, and go back and sing. And when I heard that for the first time, I was like, it sounds like a band. No one
Yeah.
knows it's just me. It probably sounded like shit, but um, it was just like, oh, I could do this. This is pretty neat. And just doing that as my songwriting process, just for years, I've learned different tricks to help myself and to help the song. So here we are. Nothing's really changed. It's just getting better over time.
Yeah, you're really fucking good at all three instruments.
Thank you.
Ha- and I like the rhythms that you pull out on the guitar and the bass. Do you think starting on drums informed how you approach guitar and bass, or did you develop that from something else?
I definitely think it has a big influence, especially because I feel like I was a bit better at drums before I started bass and guitar. So I kind of like, I took like skills from drums and tried to apply it to guitar instead of starting with nothing. Um, and I mean, I was literally like addicted to music. I was listening to it all the time. So I'm like, oh, what does this guy do? What does this guy do? How does he do this?
Mm.
So I guess it's just like blending everything together, kind of just makes this lovely baby of rock and roll.
Yeah, and I mean, it's you hear people like Lenny Kravitz and Prince who play multiple instruments, and you do it and record everything in the studio by yourself, and it's like, to me, that's just amazing because it all comes from your head. It's beautiful to work with a band and to have different people contribute, but the fact that you're like, this is in my head, I'm gonna do this, okay, let me figure this out, like, that's a lot of work. It's not easy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's gotten easier over time. I I used to think I had a friend who kind of backstabbed me, and he made me feel we were trying to be in a band together, and I was like suggesting things for him to play because I knew these instruments, and he kind of like was like, "Oh, you're just like trying to like project yourself onto this," and I'm like, "Well, if I know what's going on, why shouldn't I be able to do it?"
Yeah.
So after that, I kind of just proved to myself that I can do it, and I should. If I can do it, then why shouldn't I do it by myself? So I kind of look at the studio like release stuff as a completely separate project as like the live band that
Yeah.
we recently started up, because the guys are totally fine with it. They're jamming out, they're having fun, and they're putting their own little twists and tricks to the songs. So it's just a totally different experience, even though they are the same songs when you see an FU's show. So that's been a really fun experience too.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about that because with you writing the music and then having a live band play it, there's no, I mean, they could, I guess, but it just wouldn't be as fun if they just, you said, this is what it is, it can't change. Like, so I wanted to ask about if they do add their own little, spice to it.
Yeah, I whenever we started this up, I was like, as long as the structure is there and you're not like fucking any like major obvious fills up, then do what you want, like add to it, because it's just more fun that way. And especially when there's like no money involved and all
Mm,
that stuff, it doesn't. It I'm assuming it gets very robotic and kind of boring.
mm,
So they've really breathed life, a different kind of life into the songs, and we've changed them up a little bit. And it's just the weirdest part is hearing them for the first time live, because I hear them one instrument at a time, and that is the best part,
right.
hands down. But they, with the whole pandemic, they're just like, we want to play shows. We haven't played shows in so long. Let's just rock out and have fun, and that's been the best part of it.
And
Hell yeah.
how did you meet the group of guys that you play with live?
I met the bassist. His name is Drew. Um, Pretty early in my freshman year of college. He was, I think, a year or two above me. And then he was friends with the guitarist Brad. And then I met Mason, the drummer. Me and my friend who records and produces the FUs. We started a home studio over the pandemic just to like get my album done and like help other people out. So we met him through that miraculously, and he just happened to like the Foo Fighters and that kind of stuff. So it all just kind of works out. It's really weird.
Y'all's drummer is badass.
Yeah.
Like, man, he is so good.
Yeah. And the funny thing about all of them is that I feel like we have one pinpoint of shared music interest, and then beyond that, we're all in different like weird spectrums. Like Mason
Mm,
is the drummer is into like super intense like math rocky and like intricate rhythms, and then the bassist is into like more psychedelic stuff. I'm more into like bluesy rock stuff, and then Brad is into like classic rock and like songwriting stuff, and then just together they all blend.
Mm.
fuse.
If they fuse together, yeah.
uh,
Well played.
That was a good one.
um, I saw on your Instagram, it was a stringed instrument. I don't remember if it's guitar or bass, but you're like, does anyone want to help me name this? Have you named any of your instruments?
I have named my new guitar. I I don't really like naming things really. I think it's kind of just dumb, but I thought I might as well like have people suggest dumb names, and it got down to like it's a black guitar. It got down to like Raven, and then my friend Joey, he said Joey O'Brien the guitar as the full name. And then I put a poll up, and 90% of the people voted for Joey O'Brien the guitar. So that's the name of my guitar officially, legally, and all
Uh,
that stuff.
And your Instagram is so funny. It's like quirky and like goofy and like very playful.
Yeah, I hate when people take like super pretty pictures and like that's the only thing they post, and it's like they're they're playing up like a persona, and I'm like, I'm still like, I love memes, I love video games, I love fucking around, I love covering like Devo and all that kind of stuff, and I want to be as like authentic and real as possible. And that, I guess, goes through like with the lyrics as well. Like, I don't like telling stories through lyrics. I'm like, this is what I feel. It sucks. I want to die. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, people live on the internet and it's hard for them to decipher what is real and what is, on the internet. Like, internet
Yeah.
and reality is the same thing. It meshes together. And
Yeah.
Yeah, we're stuck in a fucking algorithm.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. 100%. And you mentioned video games, but also I can't riff with you on it because I don't know much of anything about anime. But what's your favorite anime of all time?
Okay, so my roommate and I are watching Demon Slayer.
Heard
That
of
has
it.
been absolutely killer. We're also watching Attack on Titan, which has been kind of stinky. Um, I'm sure a lot of people will come for my neck saying that, but it's just been like too much of a buildup. Anyways, but yeah, Demon Slayer has been great. There's this one called Fire Force, which is awesome. I need to get more well versed in like non-popular anime, but
Mm,
I don't really have the time to binge like One Piece or Naruto or anything like that. So I just
yeah,
like to watch the best of the best.
I feel that. Ain't
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it either.
And
Yeah.
I agree with you for Attack on Titan because I'm not well versed in anime. I won't even call myself a fan of anime. Like if somebody's watching it, or like my cousin recently suggested one, I'll check it out. But I tried Attack, and it's like, okay, let's sit down, let's watch it, let's really dive in. But like you said, it's a constant build, and it's like I'm 30 episodes in, and nothing's really happened.
Yeah, it's way too much plot and like drawn out BS. Not enough swords and dying and killing. So
Right.
that's what I want. I don't care about plot.
That's and I might get flack from this, maybe even from you. I don't know if you fuck with RPGs, but that's why I can never do RPGs. Is there's too much walking and talking. Like let me get to the action.
Yep, that's a big part of one of these games I'm playing right now. So I feel you. I'm like skip, 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 skip.
Yeah.
Don't care how the characters feel.
Yeah, there's like,
Yeah.
give me Street Fighter. I want 3 rounds of 3 minutes. Let's
There you
go.
go.
Yeah,
There you go.
straight to the
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
And we'll get back to the music in a second, but one more favorite. What would you say and why? What would you say is your favorite video game of all time?
Oh, of all time, World of Warcraft has a special place in my heart. I admit I was very addicted to it when I was growing up. Um, but I like genuinely met really great people that I still talk to this day. Like I used to play in middle school and like maybe elementary school. Um, it was just a great game, and no other game has really come to that kind of level. Um, but now I'm playing like Overwatch and this game called Genshin Impact, and that's pretty much it. I just like
Yeah.
games to grind at.
What?
Wow. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
what is it about the WoW community that makes it so tight knit? And the reason I ask is I have a friend that lives here in Charleston now, and he met a previous coworker on WoW. Never met in
Oh
person.
shit!
And our buddy called him up and was like, "Hey, I need to hire somebody that's reliable. I thought of you first because you work in this field. Will you
Oh
move from
damn!
Florida to South Carolina?"
Yeah,
And the only place they knew one another was WoW.
damn. I really don't know. Like it's just there's so much grinding that you have to do, and it kind of like encourages you to co-op a lot. So I guess it's like building teamwork and all that kind of stuff over time. If you're not like a dick, obviously, but um, yeah, it's just super fun to just play games with people. Not every stranger on the internet is a creep.
yeah.
But most of them are. But let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
Don't
Yeah,
quote me on that.
my friend, he I don't know how the rules are in California, or the law, should I say, but he went to school like 100 days out of the school year because the other ones he was skipping to play WoW.
Bruh.
But it's crazy. Like even when he moved to Georgia, he played it here, and he ended up selling one of his profiles for a skateboard, Xbox 360, and like two or three other. It was basically like $700 worth of stuff
Yeah.
that he sold his profile
Oh,
for.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's insane that people would actually buy that.
dude, I guess it's like, oh, I don't want to work for this. I don't want to
Yeah,
grind, but I want
that's
to have
cool.
this. It's crazy. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of money in
I made myself stop playing that game for those exact reasons. I'm like, this is gonna ruin my life.
it.
Yeah, it's kind of like NFTs before NFTs.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah,
Yeah, no thanks.
yeah, yeah.
Hey,
We would
let me
try to.
ask you. Oh, go ahead,
Yeah.
Nate.
Nah, I was just gonna keep going about WoW.
I was gonna say I saw that you were selling an NFT for like $250,000. Hasn't sold yet.
Yeah, unfortunately, I might lower it to like maybe 200, but you know, it happens.
If you lower
Again,
it,
dude, your Instagram's so fucking funny.
look, if you lower it to 150, I might put a bid in.
You put a bid on it? Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
Yeah,
think
I got
about
enough
it.
bags for that.
I'll talk to
yeah.
my
That's
people about it.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Take the commas out, put a decimal, $1.50. I got you. That's about as much as I can afford.
At this point, I might take it.
Dude, amazing. If you want to see the NFT we're talking about, go to his Instagram. Check it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not real.
And put
I don't like
put a
NFTs.
bid.
Put a bid. Put a bid. So with like in my head and I'm still me. I relate to those songs because something about me is like I like to help people. I'm closed off as a person, but if someone comes to me and is like, "Hey, blah blah blah, I got this problem," then it's like, "Okay, here's my opinion on it. I'm not gonna give you advice, but here's my opinion."
Yeah.
But I don't often reach out, but it's like when I do, I don't get the same energy reciprocated,
Right.
and it's happened so many times that I'm like, okay, let me not do this, because I'm gonna get the same response. So, is that something that has happened with you in life where it's like, I let me just be closed off in my own head and figure it out by myself because I don't want to rely on other people.
Yeah. I I used to really want to be a therapist before music kind of took over my life. And I always I loved helping people out with their problems. But I realized it became more of I like just helping people, like the gratification out of it, and it was kind of like a little toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when I was starting to go through stuff and I wasn't getting that back, like you said. I was kind of like, I've been through enough shit in my life. I can kind of just give myself advice and make myself listen to it. And if anyone came to me with like questions, I'd be like an open book or anything like that. But I've been fucked over enough to where
Yep.
it's like, there's no point. Like, I have the few people that are sturdy in my life that I know I can go to if I really need help. But I mean, I was raised by a single mother, so I know how to be strong and I know how to kick ass. So
Right.
there's no point in maybe trying to pry for help if I don't actually need it.
Right. Right. Yeah, and I'm the same way. That's why I felt like I relate to those songs so much. It's like I have my I have a good bit of friends, but a very small circle of fucking homies and
Yeah,
shit. And
same.
it's like I can open up to them, but a lot of people, it's like I'll still, if you still come to me and it's like, hey, I'm going through this, then yeah, I'll say what I can say, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't,
Right.
But when it comes to actually like reaching out to people, after it happened a couple times, I'm like, no, this shit's dead. Like
Yeah.
the way it made me feel is horrible. Like,
Yeah.
I give you a paragraph and you give me that sucks. It's like,
It's
oh
like,
shit.
anyways, let me tell you about my problems even more. Yeah, that sucks.
Exactly.
Not a fan. And it's not like I'm not trying to be a dick, but it's just like, it's not my job. Like, unless you're paying me to do it, then I'll listen.
Yeah.
But after a while, it takes a toll on your own mental health. And then when you can't have anyone to talk about it, it's like, fuck me, dude.
It does, and I think the one of the most beautifulest things that happened to me was this person reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I have a problem. Do you have the energy? Or are you in the right headspace where I can talk to you about it?" And
That's awesome.
I've done that almost every time after that. Like, "Hey, I got this going on. Do you have the energy right now?" And if you
Yeah.
say no, there's no hard feelings. But it's nice for someone to give you the benefit of the doubt and be like, "Hey, you might not be in the right place yourself. Maybe I need to go to someone else to talk about this."
Exactly. Yeah, that's a really good point. I wish everyone did that. if you're
I,
listening.
honestly, I never thought to do it until it was done to me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
can't
you kind
just
of just assume that anyone's there. Yeah.
yeah, definitely."
And
And
one, I
um,
was gonna say one metaphor that is in Hourglass, the
Mhm.
title of it, and also throughout the song, and also in my head, it shows up again there. What does Hourglass? Does it like have a deeper meaning to you?
So that song is about my dad, who we don't like. Um, it. I gave him so much time of day to like make up for everything that he wronged, and every time I like tried letting him back in and he came up or whatever, it just felt like he was just trying to fulfill his self and like fill his hourglass of time on this earth for himself, and like that's all I was. And it was like all of the words were just so hollow. He was a big reason why I just don't like the word love or saying I love you, because he never like followed through with it. Like, you just say it and say it and say it. I'm like, fucking show me then, dude. Come on. What's going
yeah,
on? So yeah, hourglass is simply just, I guess, a metaphor for like life and just filling up your time for your sake, but not for anyone else's sake.
Mm.
mm.
Deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you the way you started off the album, I don't feel like I belong here. Like
Mhm.
that right there is that's really powerful to start off an album that way.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, we're in for a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I try like I cuz I love like songs that are just fun, but I also love songs that are not as metaphoric and are just like straight to the point, because sometimes we need to hear that someone else is feeling some very specific way about something to feel that we're heard, or we can have someone to relate to,
Hmm.
instead of being like, oh, what does this mean? I'm like, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm feeling. So maybe you're feeling the same thing and we can like get fucked up together.
right, right. Yeah, I appreciate that because I don't have the same, or I guess we don't have the same relationship with our dad, but just hear that emotion and to hear the words that you're saying in it is like, though I can't relate, I almost feel his pain, you know.
Mhm.
And I'm sure there are 1,000 people out there that feel the same exact way. Like, yeah, fuck you, dad.
Yeah,
So
fuck him. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
fuck him.
And I often feel
Well,
that way
I
about.
can't. I can't say fuck him. It's not my dad. But
Yeah.
You
yeah.
can. I give you permission.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
fuck
yeah,
him.
fuck your dad. But no,
Yeah.
like when I hear songs like that, I think of my mom's second husband, our first stepdad. Like,
Mm-hmm.
had
Yeah.
a
True.
big
True.
heart, but couldn't manage himself. And when he went off the deep end, it's just like him against the world, and it was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
got rough.
Like,
Yeah. I forgot about
like,
that. So yeah, I guess we can.
Yeah.
yeah, I can definitely relate. It's not my
Yeah.
father, my biological father, my dad. He's awesome. Like, love that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, mom's second husband, fuck that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to have my mom is just makes up for it like tenfold.
Mm.
So I'm very lucky to have her in my life, and for her to be so beyond supportive and be like, you don't need, like, she taught me that I don't need a father. Like, there's really nothing that a father could teach you that a mother couldn't. Because my
Mm.
mom loves football, she loves rock and roll, she loves punk, she loves pigging out. Like, what else is there? Like, to be tough, she went through cancer when I was born. Like,
Oh wow.
we're good, we're here, we're kicking ass. So I kind of, after time and after giving him one more chance, um, it was just like, it's not worth my time, and I want you to know it's not worth your time. As much as it might suck for you, you put me through so much. Like, just move on. Like, I
Yeah.
found out he got remarried when I was in middle school through a Facebook status,
Wow.
and I was like, dude, really, really? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like, I would rather give the effort and attention and love to people that I feel like deserve it in my own life, and instead of just so many chances, it's like, it's not worth it. And I've learned all I could learn, and when I become a dad one day, I'll know exactly what not to do. So
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm done. I've used them up.
And talking about the angel of your mother,
Yes.
your song "Dear Mom" is
Yeah.
the first time we've had somebody on this podcast that I listened to their song and it made me tear up.
I cannot listen to it without crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was I had a nightmare once where I woke up and I for some reason thought that she was dead. Like I had lived a life where she was dead this whole time, and it was just a song trying to cope with that feeling.
Mm.
Um she's alive. She lives like 10 minutes from me. Um but I every single song I ever write, I send to my mom first, like when I'm done, just to get her like seal of approval. Um, and that was the first time I didn't. Um,
Mm.
that and You'll Be All Right, which is about her. Um, I didn't show her those two, and then for her birthday, I showed it to her, and
Oh
we were
man.
driving, and she had to pull over so she could cry. Um, but yeah, me and Joey, we couldn't like go like an hour mixing that song without like, come on, man, we can't do this right now. Like, we need to pick
Right.
me up. We need to go get some air.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
did it so well. I thought you had lost your mom.
Me
Cause
too.
Mm.
yeah, because we lost our mom when I was 24, so Nate was like 20, 21,
Oh, I'm sorry.
depending on where his birthday was at the time. But yeah, like let me go to the lyrics right quick. Mother, are you here? Where are you now? I was like,
Yeah.
oh my, I know that feeling because
Yeah.
I had a recurring dream. She let's see, we lost her in 2010, and it's probably about 2 years ago, probably right before the pandemic. I had this recurring dream where she had come back, and like we were hanging out, and everything
Wow.
was cool. And I'm like, so where did you go? And she's just like, life just got too tough for me, so I had to disappear for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm back now.
Damn.
And then she left again. And I was like, where do you go? She's like, I won't be back.
Damn.
And you saying that in the song, I was like, well, how does he know who I am?
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
tough because the only death I've personally had was my grandfather my freshman year of college. Um, and I was like so on the cusp of like actually maturing into like a real adult with thoughts because like I wish I could talk to him now. Like he was such a smart person.
Yeah.
Um, so I kind of use that kind of like, oh, so many things I could say right now to you,
Yeah.
mixed with the holy shit, what would happen if my mom died,
Mm.
which would suck. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, you
God,
really
dude.
felt that when you wrote that, man.
yeah. It took a long time to track. Let's say that. Lots of tears.
Yeah. Man, life is crazy. Life is crazy that way because we all know that we're gonna die,
Yeah,
but when it happens to someone you love, it's like fuck. Especially when it's unexpected. You know, it's like
yeah.
fuck. Like, damn it, man.
It's
You
so
know.
hard to be like, it's gone. Like it's just like that.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I
Yeah.
will never be able to understand that.
Nah, we won't. Yeah, shit's crazy.
Yeah.
Something else in another song. I guess we're doing a deep dive on lyrics right now.
Let's go.
Let's do this shit and
The, the,
hear
the,
me
the deep dive.
deep dive and hear me scream. You say
Uh-huh.
when I'm 6 feet under. Remember the
Yep.
time when I was around.
Mhm.
What's what do you want your legacy to be and how do you want people to remember you?
Holy shit. Well, hopefully that won't be for a long time. Um, but honestly, a great life path would be the one that Dave Grohl has. He has worked on like way too many music projects. He has done fundraisers and played around the world millions of times. Just to be remembered for getting people together from any background, any upbringing, any life experience, just for like an hour, and
Mm,
all of them just connecting and having fun together. That alone would be amazing. Um, but also to be able to produce and to drum on things and to write songs for other people would be amazing. But that comes with like actually making money, which is the hardest part in music. So
yeah, it is.
yeah, just a good time. I just want to have a good time. fuck all the nasty shit. I just want to, rock out and have fun.
Yeah, and the nasty shit is gonna come, it's gonna go, but
Yeah.
hopefully it goes. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. Come on, I've had enough
I
of it.
thought I was on to something, but I'm not. Fuck the nasty shit. It's gonna be here, but hopefully there's more good times than there is nasty shit. How about
There it
that?
is.
There we go.
That was a good one.
Fuck yeah.
And if you got a call tomorrow or email in your inbox from a musician, dead or alive, asking you to help them produce a song, who would you want that to be?
Alive would be Dave Grohl. Easily. I have the first Foo Fighters album tattooed right here.
Sweet.
That's where he wrote and played every single instrument.
Mm.
And I just looked to that. I was like, shit, dude, I could do that. Um, so he would be alive. Dead, I would probably say Freddie Mercury. That would be fun as fuck.
Yeah.
Because I've drummed on like country stuff. I've drummed on hip hop stuff, and I would just do anything he wanted me to do musically. So that would be it. Or maybe Lead Belly, but that's a deep cut.
Yeah, I don't know Lead Belly. I'm sorry. I have to look him up after this, but
He's like founder of the blues, kind of.
okay, shit.
Yeah,
I need to look
he's
into.
awesome.
Hell yeah.
And I have a cool Freddie story if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
So when I was probably about 24, 25, I went to a music school just outside of Atlanta. And we were in one of our Pro Tools classes, and we were working on Auto-Tune that day. And he somehow got like the multi-track for one of the Queen songs. And he's like, hey, so we're going to practice on Freddie's vocals what Auto-Tune is. So we learned the key of the song, and then obviously went from there. He turned it on to full effect, and Freddie was so pitch perfect, it didn't even modulate the vocal. And we're like, dude.
He's insane.
That's crazy.
Didn't modulate it one bit. It sounded normal. Sounded like a straight bypass.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. And you showed off some of your artwork just then on your arm, the Foo Fighters tattoo. So when it comes to artwork, like your artwork cover was done by Mickey and your merch was done by Nick. Is that kind of your two people who you go to for artwork mainly?
So artwork for singles and albums, I made it a goal to use someone new every single time to support like a small artist. So I'm still looking for someone for the new stuff that's coming out. And same, I never really thought about getting someone to design just merch. So the guy Nick who designed the face, he was just like, hey, here's this, like I came up with it and I thought you'd like it. And I'm like, oh shit, that looks dope. So plastered it on a t-shirt. Yeah, every single person for all the albums and EPs and singles have all been different. And then the girl that did the other t-shirt design, she did that for a single that I did in college that isn't out anymore. So I just like it, we gotta support each other at this level. So yeah.
But what's crazy is it all looks like it's almost done by the same person. Like, the artwork is really out there and really nicely done. So the fact that you went to different people, it does not look like that at all. It looks like you have one or two people working on it.
Yeah, it's all different people. And I'm always like, I can't draw a stick figure. Like that's how bad I am. So I'm like, if there's something you want to experiment with, do it. I'm probably gonna love it as long as the FUs is on there in the title of the song. We're golden.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I'm always like, oh wow, you can draw a circle. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
And what is it?
The lazy elephant thing.
And no, Elephant Records.
Yeah.
So what is Elephant Records? Is that an actual label or?
So when I was putting out the EP I did in high school, I didn't know anything about like registering for a PRO. So I was like, BMI or ASCAP? I don't know. ASCAP sounds cooler. So I chose that, and they're like, who's the publisher of this? And I'm like, I couldn't put myself. So I came up with Lazy Elephant Records,
Lazy
which,
elephant. There you go.
yeah, because elephants are my favorite animal. So, and I was
Alright.
feeling lazy at the moment, I guess. So Lazy Elephant Records is just me. Um, I thought it sounded cool. So nothing spectacular there.
And what's funny is when you see like elephants on like TV, like they're just like fucking chilling and they kind of look lazy, but I think those motherfuckers walk a long way every day.
Oh yeah, way more than I do.
I'm
Tell you
I'm
that.
looking it up. I'll let y'all know in a second.
While Bobby's looking at, well, no, because I don't want to ask that question because it's gonna get into some deep shit. All right. Well, we
Yeah,
asked
so
before.
they
Okay,
walk
we got it.
1.9 to 7.4 miles per day.
Ugh,
That's why they're so big.
no
They
That's why they
thanks.
got muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
They can pick shit up with their trunks and shit. And they're nice and sweet. That's a crazy thing. They're the sweetest animals.
Perfect animal, I'm telling you.
Isn't
Yeah.
it crazy that we're one of the very few animals that does very little with our face?
I guess,
Yeah,
yeah, for tools, yeah.
Yeah.
and we eat with our hands, like
Oh yeah.
monkeys and gorillas, and probably not too many other animals.
Dude, we're weird, man.
We are, man.
We are aliens.
And we
what
I
think
believe
we're
it.
we think we're on top because we created the internet, dude. We're on the fucking bottom.
Yeah.
We're on the bottom because we created the internet.
Right.
Oh,
Oh shit.
Oh,
Boom.
whoa.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yes. I want you to talk about the Trevor Project a little bit and how'd you team up with them and what's that really about?
Yeah, so one of my really good friends that I met in marching band, her name is Jill. She is a transgender woman, and I met her before she transitioned, and we were like attached at the hip. She played bass for me when the FU's like had like maybe one or two shows ever before I came to college, and we roomed together. And she came out as trans 2 or 3 Novembers ago, and that was the first experience I ever had with any sort of coming out. And I
Mm,
was just so blindsided by it, and I was just like, I literally don't know how much like pain you've been going through your whole life,
right.
and I just thought you were chilling. So after she came out, she was just so open with everything and any sort of questions, and she was just like, yeah, I've been suicidal like this whole time. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
So when it came to any sort of fundraising I could ever do, um, I don't really remember what specific thing I started with the Trevor Project. Oh, it was the Bandcamp Friday thing. um,
Mm,
they gave like 100% of the album sales to the artist every Friday of the month. um, so I was like, anything I get from Bandcamp, it's going straight to the Trevor Project. Just because, like, is it just blew my mind how I knew someone for so long and
yeah.
had no idea what
Yeah.
they were going through.
That's that's why I like to say and like to believe and think myself is treat everyone like you have no clue what they're going through.
Yeah, I
You
think
know.
that's very safe to do too,
Yeah.
because you never
Yeah.
know when someone's like on their last line.
Yeah, I've had a couple friends who have committed suicide,
Oh,
and it's
geez.
like some it's like okay, I knew you were depressed, I knew you were going through it, but some it's like whoa, wait, where the fuck did this come from? And
Yeah.
it could just been a bad hour, like a bad hour of shit just hit the fan, and they're like fuck it, I'm doing it now, and
Yeah.
there's nothing anyone could do. But some it's just like where the fuck did this come from?
Yeah.
So you never know what anyone's going through, whether it's your friend, close one, subway employee, whatever. Like, just treat people like you don't know what they're going through.
Yeah, and another thing with the Trevor Project, I'm pretty sure they give free like suicide hotlines to anyone, um, and they give like free programs to like um, transgender and like LGBTQ plus all those, to like minors, because that's, I'm assuming, is the biggest suicide rate amongst that community. So
Mm.
if I could have any sort of part of informing someone about that could ever help someone out, like I'm here. I'll do anything.
That's beautiful. We'll definitely put the link in the description to that so people can
Sweet.
donate or maybe just check out what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you took the words out of my mouth. I was about to say that almost verbatim.
Yeah, 100%.
And speaking of your causes, you also are a part of Indie for a Cause Volume 2. How did that come about?
So that stemmed from a Reddit community called Indie Music Feedback, where people would post like a demo or sometimes a finished song, and everyone in the community would just comment like, "Oh, like this could use like a gate, or the snare could be brighter, or the vocals need to be better." Um, and I started posting on there with "For the Love of God," and it kind of picked up. And then I posted Chaser when I was like in the middle of writing it, and it got to almost to the top of the subreddit.
Oh,
And
shit.
they had like this huge Discord server with like thousands of people, and I just became a part of that community. And there's so many supportive people there, and like artists and DJs and songwriters and guitarists, and like everyone that you can think of will just help in any way that they can. So they decided to make like a bi-monthly or however often they do it, um, compilation of people that are from that subreddit, and they all the proceeds go to a decided uh, organization that people that submit get to like weigh in on. And I think I've I was a part of the first one, I think, and the second one I've been a part of two.
Yeah.
And one of them was like to support, um, to get like oxygen tanks in India when COVID was like rampant there. So I
Mm,
was like, no
that's
shit, that makes
badass.
sense. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're really great over there.
It, this is totally different, but it reminds me of this compilation that's called Among Horses.
Mhm.
And what they do basically is they fly two people out to this remote location in the country, and they're like, make a EP. You have 7 days. Never work
Damn.
together. And one I would suggest to you is Among Horses 3. It's Haley Hendrix, and I don't remember who the guy is, but really amazing EP in my opinion. And I feel
Nice.
like it would kind of be up your alley, and it's more acoustic shit, but I think you would really enjoy it.
Awesome. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the kind of stuff that is just so cool to me. Stuff that is like not having to do with a band or an image. It's just like coming together. They know that they can use their influence to raise money, so why the fuck not?
Exactly. Yeah, that's always beautiful. And
Yeah.
I don't know where the contributions go to Among Horses, but for some reason I have a feeling that it has to go somewhere. Like
Yeah.
someone has to get paid. So it's like instead of anyone getting paid, let's fucking send it to help out, people that
Why
are in
not?
need.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, when I was in school too, I heard about. I can't remember which art school in Atlanta did it, and it wasn't for like a cause. It was more of a competition, but they had a 24-hour video game creation. So you
What?
have the video game programmers, musician students, or music students, making the music and all this other stuff, just collaborating. They start one morning and then they finish the next morning, and they just like binge energy drinks and coffee throughout the night, and they make a video
Mountain
game in
Dew.
24 hours.
I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, I hear it's intense. I never went. I kind of regret that now that I think about it, but it's like, whoa.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
insane.
would be like, hey, let me wake me up in 2 hours, and I'm gonna come back.
Tag me back in.
Right.
So what were you doing 5 years ago, and in 5 years, where do you want the FUs to be?
What was I doing 5 years ago? I think that was my freshman into sophomore year of college. I think that the album that I put out in 2020, I look at it as the beginning of the FUs, because I feel like that's when I found my sound, and like I truly understood what I could do as a musician and songwriter. Um, so I feel like everything up to that album was kind of just like side quests, kind of just gearing up and practicing and getting good enough to a point where I could start. Um, but 5 years from now, I would love to be living stably off of music with like money and everything. Definitely want to do a big tour. I am 100% okay with signing to a label for like an album or two. Um, I don't understand why people shit on that so much
Mm,
when they have so much resources that you can use to build a fan base.
yeah.
Um, so I feel like I have everything else. I just need that little sprinkle of good luck. So yeah, I'm hoping I'm at that point in 5 years.
The music's definitely there. Would you rather sign to like a distribution deal or an actual label for one or two albums?
Um, I probably an actual label. I I don't really, as long as I maintain ownership of my songs and the masters.
Yeah, that's the biggest part.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, at this point, if they can help me build a big enough fan base, I can operate on my own after the deal is up. Because it's pretty easy at with the internet and everything now. So I'll sign my soul away for a few years if it means the rest of my life I could spend playing music.
And you mentioned hip hop at one point. What would you say, Dead or Alive, is your top five?
Oh God, I couldn't do by name. But this is
Let's
gonna
just name
sound.
one then.
Oh well, Afro is my favorite. It's spelled with a dash between or a period between each letter.
Hmm.
I think he was on like Ellen when he was like 12 or something, and he was just like freestyling like insane. He's really great. I do have to say I don't know why, but my mom let me listen to Eminem when I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
Um, so, but that was like when he was like Eminem,
Slim
not
Shady.
yeah, back when he was slim. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean like Kendrick, obviously.
Mm,
I need to do like a Spotify search on what I actually have because I I find myself listening more to just individual songs and not really paying attention to the artist as much as getting in love with one person.
got you. Got you. Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one thing Nate and I talk about often is now in the digital age, it's like all individual songs or playlists. But we miss the days of like putting on a CD and just letting that CD go from start to finish.
Yeah.
And one thing I really enjoyed about your album from 2020 is you were very intentional about the song order because like you
Yes.
can still feel a vibe, make a very interesting transition. Like sometimes it was smooth, sometimes it was a little bit jarring with the pace of energy change,
Mhm.
but you could tell that you thought about what you want that to feel like.
Yeah, it's everything on that album was intentional, from meaning to songs to the vibe to the energy to everything. I wish that albums were more of a thing,
Mm-hmm.
um, because I would love to just do an album every like 2 years of the best of the best. But it's like the songs that are towards the end of the album have like no streams, and no one ever listens to those.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like that's why I've been doing singles, and that's why I'm like, I'll just do an EP that has a single off of it. And I think that's the attention span that people have these days is like they'll take it in little doses. So
And that sucks. That's what I hate about it is because like I don't know if you know who Hobson is,
yes,
but okay, so a couple years ago he put on this story like, "Hey, I'm not gonna release another album ever again
yeah,
because I released an album and I go on tour." And the only things that people sing word for word or the singles or the ones with videos. He
yep,
was like, but then I'll do, five songs off the album and everyone's just bobbing their head. And I'm like,
exactly.
bruh, like, I understand exactly what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but give me an album. I'm old school, man.
I know,
I don't
yeah,
want singles and videos.
I
But
want to
that's
start
how it
buying the
is.
tapes again.
That's the climate.
yeah. So it's just like I would rather put my energy into doing what will actually work instead of like
Mm-hmm.
forcing it onto people. Um, so yeah, it sucks. I love doing albums. Like I love coming up with like the concept and making it flow together instead of being like, here's one song that's really loud and I can't connect other songs because one song isn't enough to get a point across.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, this has been beautiful. Thanks for giving us your time and your
Of course.
vulnerability and coming on here.
Yeah, you guys have been awesome. I really appreciate actually diving into the music and learning about it and all that kind of stuff.
Hell yeah, I like to hear it from the horse's mouth. You know,
Yeah. Nay,
it's
nay.
beautiful.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Here's a virtual kiss.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Put that
I
on your
appreciate
cheek.
it. Thank you.
Put that on your cheek real
Put
quick.
it right in this
Oh, okay. Oh, put it in the pocket. Save it for later.
Save
There
it
you
for
go.
a bad day. Yeah.
There you go. Hell yeah. Well, hey, this has been another episode of Off the Beaten Path. Bobby, if you don't mind letting these folks know what to do,
Stay black, motherfuckers.
don't be whack.